Hello, Phalonians. I'm Lore Master Matt,
And I'm Phelan John.
and welcome to the Bellringers. From time to time, we're going to record a series on a special topic, and you'll find that in these sessions, the Bellringers. The Lord Mayor of Teradim, Varain Qualtara, employs many young people, generally waifs and strays like John and I, to roam throughout Teradim, ringing a bell and shouting proclamations from the Lord Mayor or the news of the day. Besides a daily stipend, bellringers are often stopped on the streets by the affluent of Teradim and asked to give the news to them personally, for which they receive a copper or two for their time. We are your bellringers, and today the news is a starting point for lore in your journey through the world of Phalon. So after a very long hiatus, today we're going to talk about the kingdom, the area. What are we? Is it a khanate? It's a khanate.
Khanate,
It's a
Kandor.
khanate
Yeah.
of Kandor, one of the most unique
Not Kandor.
places.
Kandor.
Kandor. Well, yeah. I mean, you always Kandor. One of the most unique places in our setting. It's on Esartiel, the northern continent, and it is a Simker nation
Yes,
in the middle of a desert,
mostly.
mostly.
Yes.
But they do some very interesting things there. They have some very interesting practices, and we're going to talk about that. But first, let's talk about how those Simkers got there and what they're doing.
So, in the history of Phelan, one of the core concepts is the fault lines, the clash of cultures. Three big ethnic ancestries are all moving towards a central point. The Failers from the northwest, Challers from the south, and Simkers from the east. And so Simkers originate out in the eastern part of the northern continent and continue to migrate west for various reasons. And one of those migrations produces the groups that go into what is now Kandor. A geographical region with good natural boundaries, an ocean on one side, mountains on the others, right? Mostly desert split by a river.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like upside down Egypt.
Right? Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, you're welcome. So they migrate there, and as we've talked about before, a lot of the nations, factions, countries, realms of Phalon, the writing of them was inspired by earthly counterparts.
Of course, yeah.
And the closest there's clearly some Egyptian influences,
Absolutely.
right? Because you want that, because you got your undead there. But the principal governmental historical analog is the Yuan Chinese, and that is the group of the part of China that is run by the Mongols after Genghis Khan's death.
Right. These are the folks that the Imperial Chinese were constantly fighting or trading for horses for.
Yes,
Yeah.
one of two. And so the difference between the Yuan Chinese and the other, the Golden Horde, the guys who move further west, all the different grandsons, the guys who go into India and produce the Moguls, right? The one that goes into Iraq, sells in Baghdad. The difference here is the Kublai Khan recognized the utility of having part of his nation be urban and agrarian. Right. So he had a place, several places, land that was ended up being his. He and his nobility could stay in the saddle and be the same nomads they'd always been.
Right.
But he was running a country that had ethnic Chinese subjects.
Right.
That lived in cities, farmed land, manufactured things, all that stuff. And one of the longest lasting of the Mongol realms after the death of the Great Khan. So that's the story here. The Simkur come over the mountains, move in there in their classic nomad, horsebound culture. And one of the early Khans says, "Hey, I got a city here. It used to belong to the Krajan, and it belonged to the Trazrites. Been fought over 1,000 times. Let's build this guy up.
Gotta do something with this."
But the issue is, nobody of his ilk, there's no Chinese there, right? There's no existing population farming and making things in the city of Kandor and its environs. So slavery becomes a thing.
Right.
Now we're not here to make a political statement about slavery. We're in medieval times equivalent. These things, bad people do bad things.
Right.
This is one of them.
Right.
We're not endorsing it. It's bad. People who do it and fail on are bad. They're villains. And this guy's a villain. Because in order to do the things he wants and retain his power, he makes people do things that they don't want to do.
Sure.
Classic story throughout history.
It is.
But somewhere in there, they're rebuilding the city of what becomes Kandor. Originally, Skarin, right? Is the name of it, as it's Crygen and Trasrite. It's ruined. It's fought over a million times.
Yeah.
It has a couple other names along the way. And I think originally Discarda is its original name. I have to go back and look at my own, notes, my own history book, right? The original Crygen name when it was founded, and Skarin is later.
Right.
Yeah. So, they're rebuilding the place. They've got a lot of work to do. He intends to keep building up his, population of workers and delving into some of the underbasements of some of the buildings and temples in Kandor. They discover that the Crygen were messing with necromancy here.
Right.
And some of the secrets of it. And that is how they acquire it. The original people to play around with necromancy in our world was the Crygen Empire, some of the cast of Crygen Empire. So they discover it. A warlock named Orcash, 448, I want to say, is a year. There's a story on World Anvil about him and that discovery and how it all went down. And so, problem solved. I don't need to worry about overdoing it or angering all my neighboring countries by taking slaves. I just go get some former Kandorans or former battlefield enemies.
Two birds, one stone.
And so it becomes legal as far as the word goes, in the County of Kandor to have undead workers and undead soldiers.
Right.
In your army.
Right.
Okay? That's where that all comes about.
Yeah, it solves a huge problem
Yeah.
for him structurally and also religiously.
Yeah, he and his nobility can stay in the saddle and act like nomads.
Yep.
Hang out in the rest of Kandor, which is,
Vast.
a vast stepland.
Yeah.
And he can have his workers building buildings and making shoes and farm and doing trade. And a lot of those are not living.
Which is one of the fascinating aspects of Kandor, honestly, right? It's, of course, on the battlefield, it's, undead soldiers, right? That's always cool. But the fact that their economy is based on the non-living.
Yeah, you're walking down the street in Kandor, you go to a vape store, there's a bone thrall.
Right.
Mixing your potion or,
potion.
helping you size. Join us. Oops. Oh, damn, another worker.
Oh, no.
It's a thin line between potion and poison.
Oh, sure, absolutely. But it also gives rise to a noble class of necromancers.
Yes.
Which we're going to talk about next time in the religious section too.
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating place with not just a fascinating history, but a fascinating culture.
Yep.
It's not just hey, we just raise the dead to fight with them. No, it's so much more than that.
Yeah, but like the Khanate of Grular, the Sultanate of Samidia, the Khanate it's an authoritarian government.
Right.
Single leader with a council.
Yeah.
So it's no undead voting. There's no living voting. So you can't pad your prefecture with I got 5 more guys voting this week. So so we have Samidians leaving Samidia, migrating out of Samidia for various reasons, usually to do with what a wreck it is in terms of its geological and weather problems.
Yeah.
Crossing over the mountains, entering what is now Kandor, settling, wanting to stay in the saddle, and Telrat saying, you know what else we could do? We could also have an economy, and a stable base, and not just, constantly be subject to the whims of nomadic life.
Right.
First there's still slavery at 1008 in Kandor, but nothing like
Right.
what they originally tried.
It's not as necessary now, but some have made it a lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah. Very much the villains in our role-playing games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The Spice Road campaign ran into a Kandor slave ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost added to that set of worker bees, but they got away. So, yeah. So, what have we not covered? We've taken care of all that. The Khan is appointed by a Congress, but if there's a male heir, it's just a rubber stamp.
Right.
The Congress is there so that if it gets weird, there's not a big fight over in a war.
Yeah. Sort
of a protection against that, because that happened to early Semitic cultures and the Grular cultures happened to. So they protected themselves with that. He's the commander. He's the head of state and commander in chief.
Right.
Yeah.
Now there's sub districts.
7 prefectures.
Yeah. And they're mostly tribal, nomadic tribal.
Yes. Still.
And he appoints leaders to that. Is that true?
Yeah.
I believe that's.
Well, yes. The tribes, the 7 tribes do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Appoint their leader.
Yeah.
Right. Usually, and they have different traditions.
Right.
Trial by combat.
Right.
Who's ever best at chess. Crap like that.
Yeah. Whoever can raise the dead fastest.
Oh, hey. I want to write that story. Let's write that story. Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Oh, one more bone throw. Damn it. Yeah. I guess Bob's in charge. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
So that's
cool.
Kandor.
So next time we're going to take a look at the religion and the military of Kandor. And folks, that's your rundown on Kandor. So if you're interested in Kandor, there's a lot of stuff still on World Anvil. We know it's a little harder to get to.
Right. We're going to eventually transition away from that, but right now it's where it's all stored.
That's where it's at.
I'm looking at the Kandor article on.
Yep.
Me
too.
Just to double check it's all there. We want to say something, you can go read, and you can't go read it there. So, yep, absolutely.
All right, folks, thanks for joining us. And until next time, we'll see you around the table.
Till Sakaba.